meeting to order. Do you want to set a time limit for tonight, or how long this is we're going to go?
It'll be a short
However long
meeting.
it takes.
A short meeting, Jay says. Kay says as long as it takes. We're somewhere in between there, probably.
It'll be a short meeting, and it won't take that long at all tonight. There's not a whole lot to be done tonight.
Okay. Here.
Bear.
Here.
Harness.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Kenworthy.
Here.
And Tobias.
Here.
So what we have before us is a draft of the capital item improvements. Well, has not been approved by the PC yet. Suggestions and ideas of major components here.
I composed this from past capital improvement drafts, past ones that Jean has done. Some things that we still need to, finish doing, and some that had not been accomplished in the past. We have a couple items on here. We have the police department's list of items, and we still have the caboose that we need to do.
Okay. Anthony, can you help? You should know this, but you typically ask for input. Usually it's all the PC people, but do you ever ask for input from
Staff.
right? But you usually never know public comments or anything like that as far as the...
No, not for CIP. I don't think that's ever been done before. Jean's always prepared what town hall needed, and I assume carried on conversations with Jen and Sherry, and then talked to Chief Ruth. So,
A quick question. What we're thinking about doing for we got a quote on the waterproofing and that. Is that something we're considering doing with this year's money or next year's money? And if it's next year's money, should it go on here?
Good questions.
I think that could fall under master plan design and construction, because waterproofing is one of the things they're supposed to look into when we get to that, so it could be part of those funds. So,
I know there was a concern, and help me, Jen, but one of the gentleman's concerns in looking at that is what to do with this water once it, can we tie it into something existing? Does it try to exit out here on one of the corners? Or do we need some type of, hidden pond or reserve like we did over at 84 Denver to keep this water that we get from?
no, master plan's dealing with different surfaces for parking that can allow more drainage. They've suggested rain barrels to catch some of the outfall on the roof, and there is stormwater management that they are suggesting. So,
All right. So, Mr. Tobias, do you have any kind of comments or thoughts on these numbers and how to best expedite this process?
On the budget that staff has initially prepared,
Correct.
I think first and foremost, we need to fill in the gaps. And that's one of the things that I had asked Steve to handle. And so Steve, I think, is still diligently working on the PD numbers.
I'm ready to help fill in the gaps now, but as we go through it, I've got a couple of questions on how some of the current line items were merged into new line items, just to make sure I understand.
Fill them in?
So we'll be on what, page 4 of 9 for everybody?
Page 4 of 9, we can start there. The first one I have is repairs and maintenance services.
Object 3310?
Yes, 3310. We'd like to keep that at $2,025, the same as this year. Correct. Now, are we mainly talking about just the gaps here, and then we'll go back through numbers later?
Well, to my knowledge, the police department budget was being prepared by you and the police department, and if that's not properly already reflected on here.
Okay, then we can go
My
through the
indication
whole.
was this was staff projections, not actual
That's fine.
projections from you and the PD.
I have those numbers with me, and we can go through them. 3320, maintenance service contracts. We'd like that to be at 675. The next one, 3600, advertising, 850.
Are you prepared to accept questions?
Absolutely.
Having seen no advertising through 2/28/2013, what are they also going to start advertising?
If a need arises for a new officer, I'm told they have to advertise that. I'm not sure why advertising didn't show up this year, because we advertised for 2 officers. Maybe it came out of another line item.
I think they just went through VML this year. It's free.
Okay. Because if you put it in the Post or something like that, there's cost to that.
Yeah, unfortunately, $850 wouldn't be enough. I think the last time the chief checked, it was like $1,200 just to run an ad in the Northern Virginia Daily in Front Royal. So he decided not to use that service any longer and
Okay.
use VML for free. But that was this year.
I understand. He had requested to have some money in there in case he had to advertise. He did not mention that the $1,200 figure that you're mentioning now is, I guess, the minimum.
It was just outrageous.
Yeah. I mean, I would think we'd want to, if the VML is working, or has worked for us, that, and it is free, or even if it started costing something, it'd probably be minimal.
Yeah, I was in for the town manager position. I advertised in all of the municipal leagues, like West Virginia Municipal League, Maryland Municipal League, and Virginia Municipal League also.
And that was all free? Okay. Based on that, I'd recommend that we zero it out then, since we seem to have a couple of years of history of doing advertisements that way, and it's been working for us.
I think it's just this year.
Yeah, I was fine with 850. I just wanted to ask a question.
Okay. I mean, I'm not sure if 850 is enough now, because if the 1,200 is accurate just for one position to advertise in several papers.
Do you want to confer with Chief and come back at our next budget?
Yes, let me do that.
And does that advertising include any police event that they may have, whether it be any advertising for, like, their bike rodeo, their anything else, so that
Yeah.
maybe we should have some in there, not zero it out?
He said specifically this was for new hires and that sort of stuff, but I will confer and confirm that.
For their national night out or anything else that
Now, National
police
Night
department
Out, well,
advertising.
National Night Out, DUI checks, and that sort of stuff, he typically takes out of his discretionary fund.
Well, no, for the advertising of it,
Okay.
just that advertising line, that would be part of that public safety budget, police department budget.
Okay.
Can we ask a question about the service contracts?
Go ahead.
See, the 265 is kind of an actual number. I was just wondering what. Right now, that is their security system, and it's $65 a quarter.
What line is this?
3310.
3320.
3320.
But you wanted the
Oh, maintenance.
675?
When I was talking to him, The security system is the thing he knew that he had there, and he was trying to think if there was something else, but, so he deferred to, let's keep it a status quo, just in case there was something else that he couldn't think of right at that moment. If we're certain that that's the only thing, I will confer with him on that number again, too.
There shouldn't be anything else on there. We feel pretty confident about that.
And
And it's paid for the year.
no increase or anything, or should we add 10% or something?
Yeah, what's the proposal for the monthly maintenance of the new system that you all have priced out?
For the camera system, there was no, well, I wasn't planning on having any maintenance on that because we haven't, I run the one at Greeno Crossing, and we haven't needed, it's fairly expensive, and we haven't needed that. When we had a camera fail, it was under warranty, but a couple of years down the road, we might consider that. I don't know if...
So it's not a monitoring security?
No, it's not a monitoring system at all.
Not
it is-
externally, I think it's internally.
It's
the cameras and
internally, you can burn a certain amount of time to a DVD, or it's on a network. If you so choose to put it on there, you can just go to a PC and then look at the stuff and burn what you want to a DVD or to a USB drive and have that data. But no, there's no external monitoring or anything on that, so no cost there.
We just wouldn't anticipate anything other than those 265.
Okay, I will confirm with him. Anything else?
In regards to salary wages regular, why that went down? If we hired 2 more,
We only hired one more.
or if we hired the 1 more, it still went from last year being at 354,606 to this year going to 338.
You gotta look at the actuals, Kat.
And, yeah, I see the actuals.
It included everything. It didn't break out overtime or...
Well, was last year's budgeted for the extra person, and the extra person came in mid-year, so there's a
That's
savings there?
That is correct.
Okay.
Does the staff projected cover, we have, is it 1 officer or 2 that'll be coming on their 1 year or off their probationary? Weren't you telling me about that?
Right.
Yeah, I told Chief to consider that in his numbers. But this is just we haven't gotten anything from the meeting. So that is actual, no raises, today's current salary at 2,080 hours per person
Right.
for FY14. That's, we just kind of gave you the facts.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that number's low.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, to consider no raises. At the mayor's meeting, I was tended to, it looked like across the board, people were doing either 2 or 3% as they were considering their budgets that they're working on this week.
The purpose of tonight is to sort of skim through it, not get inundated with the details, because otherwise we'll be here till midnight. So tonight, let's skip through it. If you have questions, we'll address all the detailed stuff at the next meeting. This is a very preliminary, really the only reason I even want to be here tonight is to get the numbers from Steve.
Okay. I have no comments on electrical or heating. I mean, they are what they are.
You want to then just skip down to the next gap of mileage allowance?
Going down to
5510, page 4 of that.
5400, equipment rental. Make sure I have the right one here. It was 3645, and the chief said that he could reduce that to 3,000. But it looks like we've only spent 1,300 so far.
That is only their contract, and that is 165.
So this line item is only for the copier and nothing else? Okay. Then,
Do you have something else you want to put in there?
only thing that they run?
Concur with Chief on that one?
I will confer, but if that's the only thing, then I would agree to the reduction there. 5510 and 5530, we used to have a single line item for $500. It's now been broken up into 2 line items. I would recommend keeping both at $250 because this is when the officers go for a training session or something specific where we reimburse them for mileage and meals and that, and it's a minor amount. That I'd just keep it at $250 each, same as this year. 5,800 discretionary. Chief would like to bump that to $1,500 from $1,000 that it was this. Oh, wait a minute. It was $1,013 this year, but I'd like to bump it to $1,500. That's what he uses for National Night Out, DUI checks, miscellaneous things like that. Dues and memberships, 5,810. He would like to keep that at $5,400. Same amount that he had this year. I'm just going to breeze through these. Please stop me if anybody has any questions. Office supplies. He'd like to maintain the $33.75 that he had this year. Repair and maintenance supplies is something I'm not sure of what it is compared. Is this a new line item?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't cross it to what we had this year.
We really didn't have a comparable.
Yeah.
She wants things broken between service fees and parts, in other words.
Let me go back and look at that one more closely. Vehicle and powered equipment fuels. We'd like to keep the $30K instead of dropping back to $25. However, this is highly dependent on fuel prices, and we just don't know where they're going to go. And this is probably a little high this year because it was probably thought that fuel prices might be going up. So, I mean, I'd like to hear council's thoughts on that. This is a big ticket item, but I don't want to shortchange us by not having enough money in there if fuel prices go up substantially. Because we do use a lot of fuel for what we do.
There's also ways to cut some of the fuel bill. I think 30,000 is sufficient.
Okay, so we'll keep that at $30K for now. Vehicle and powered equipment supplies, that's fine. Police supplies, not sure what that is.
I'm assuming like bullets.
Well, if we assume that, I'd like to add $1,800 to that for the
Taser
purchase of 1 new taser and 20 shots. It's something that went into the capital budget, but probably shouldn't be in capital. That's more of a disposable or
Equipment, yeah.
equipment type thing. So if we treat that as that $900, I'd like to add $1,800 to that for a total of $2,700. $2,700 total, yes. Uniforms, 6011. Now, last year we had uniform/accessories and uniform maintenance, 2 separate line items. It appears that was joined onto one item, uniforms. The chief says that not the newest officers, the 2 newest officers, but all the other officers are going to need new uniforms this coming year. And so we're requesting $13,850 for that total line item. Since it's joined together now, so that includes new uniforms, and of course, the uniform maintenance and that sort of stuff, all in that one area. I'll have to get back to you on books and subscriptions, education and recreational. I'm not sure what other operating supplies is.
That's where they put the discretionary number this year.
Then what is on the prior page?
It's just where they put it.
Oh,
It shouldn't be there.
okay, so miscellaneous discretionary on the prior page actually has money in it. And so this one is zeroed out. We keep it zeroed out because it's basically the same thing.
6014 can be deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 1013 is exactly that old number.
We can just delete 6014 on
Yes.
this sheet. So.
Yes.
Or we can delete the number.
Yeah.
The grant pass-through is fine.
The grant expenditures, you mean?
I'm sorry, grant, well, it's pass-through on the old one, expenditures on this one.
It's fine at zero?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing there.
I'm sorry, that should be 7,500.
It's, from my understanding, it's not our money. I'm not sure how this works in the budget here, that it's not, it's sort of money we front and then we get paid back.
We have to account for the expense in that category, just like we have to account for the income, so it should be a wash.
It should be.
Somewhere in the income,
7,500.
there should be a number.
Okay.
The same amount. Yeah, 7,500, right?
7,500, yeah.
All right, so 7,500 goes in there, and there is a 7,500 on the income.
Yep.
Okay. I'll have to get back to you on furniture and fixtures. And we have no known need for a new motor vehicle, so having that zeroed out is fine. Now, a couple questions I had is,
Jen, in the new budget format, is that actually zeroed out since we're paying an expense for police vehicles? For the loan?
Yeah, we're going to see that under debt service.
Okay, perfect.
That's the outlay. She wanted the outlay section.
Perfect.
this may be elsewhere in the system here. There was an area called equipment in the old one. Can you direct me to what that might be now?
It's 8101, page 7. Capital outlay on machinery and equipment.
Okay, that is fine. The next one is, there was a public defender line item in the old one. Is that somewhere else, or should that be in here?
It's under legal services, part of the $12,000 in the legal services. 3150.
Oh, I had different legal services.
Same page.
91, right here.
Oh, so you combined legal, well, the old legal was 12,000, public defender was 2,500, so that's 14,500.
Yeah, that's our mistake. We should change that.
Okay, so that 12,000 should be 14,500, since it's a combined. All right,
Steve, on
that is all I had, unless somebody else has a question.
on 6007, page 4 of 9, 4006007.
Yes.
Repair and maintenance.
Yes.
What was your number on that?
I'm going to confer with the chief on that.
And is that vehicle maintenance and services? Or is there a line for vehicle maintenance? Because there's,
Well, the vehicle maintenance is the 6009. That's vehicle maintenance.
For equipment supplies, vehicle and powered equipment supplies.
that's maintenance?
Yes. Any other questions?
No, I think the office supplies going up to 3,500 is too much, but I think 3,000 is more than enough for her office, more than enough for the office supplies.
Let me, where's it?
Line number, Cap.
I've got it.
6001.
I will confer on that.
It didn't really go up, it stayed the same as, they're suggesting that it stayed the same from last year.
Yeah, I have it at 3,000, where last year it was 3,375.
Right, they're asking that it stay the same.
At 3,000, I have it.
No, he wrote in
Right.
3,375, he wants
Which-
it to stay the same at 3,375.
Which I think 3,000 should be plenty.
Well, if you look at their actuals of 2535,
Got it?
divide that by the number of months that have elapsed times 12, and you get 3,800, so 33 is still less than actual. I'm fine with Jim's recommendation there, he knows how many paper clips he uses,
Yeah, I show
I
us.
think.
I show us a month ago when I ran the analysis that we were $139 over the curve.
Yes, you are.
That so we're slightly over the curve of finishing off the 12 months.
That's SOP for them. Anybody want to talk about the museum? Page 7 and 9. It's nice that we have a building, but we have nobody within it. We have, to my knowledge, not received much interest in anybody running it. The last person that we had run it didn't really run it. And it currently is in a state of disrepair that we don't know how much it's going to cost us to fix. So do we want to leave these numbers as they are, or do we want to increase them in hopes of actually finding someone who's capable of running it and making our museum something other than a postage stamp material, or postcard material, rather? Quite honestly, I mean, either we spend money and we advertise and we get someone to run it, and we put money into the programs, or we might as well just sell the building, because it's not doing us any good sitting there as a picture-perfect spot. So I think we need to consider adding money to the program and actually starting a program, in my opinion.
See if we can go around the table and get our opinions on this.
I actually agree that we ought to use it or be done with it. And I think it's worth a shot to try again to get it used for its purpose. I mean, it is a landmark for the town, and we do have things to display. I think it's a wise investment to at least try one more time.
Okay. Rebecca?
I agree with Jay. I think we should make it a real part-time position and give someone a list of hours we want it open and a certain number of hours to work per week in maintaining the building. But yes, I agree with Jay.
Okay.
Yep. Part-time employee, great. To get it open and seen, get the repairs done that we need.
Great. Where do I feel your...
I would like to get the building fixed and then get someone in there to work it part-time. And we can all figure that out when we want it open, what we think is the best. But first off, we have to fix the building before we get anybody in there and get that stuff protected.
Yeah,
Right.
that's okay.
Mr. Mill?
Yes, we need to do, definitely do the repairs, and I think it needs to be back into operational status.
And I think I would also concur with everyone that we need to put the money into the project to get the staff. I thought that at the time that we got, heard that there was one other person too that was interested, and we kind of went between, am I remembering this incorrectly?
That's not germane to the budget discussion. Item number 1,300, I'd like to suggest that we increase it to $12,000, which will be $1,000 a month at $15 an hour, it would be 66.6 hours a month that the museum could be open. I think that would be sufficient to actually staff it and run it and actually have a working opportunity there.
How many hours a month did you say?
That would be 66 hours a month. 66 and 2/3 at $1,000 a month.
And what was the
And
numbers?
12,000, and that would be 66 hours a month at $15 an hour, which means the FICA, if you just do simple math, 358 times 3, since we're increasing that, the FICA would be 1,074. I'm assuming that that math doesn't change. Advertising, I'd like to see that number go up in the hopes of actually starting a program. Hopefully, we actually might have to have something to advertise. So I would like to make that $5,000. If anybody has any objections, stop me.
Just that would be included like brochures or something.
Whatever is considered advertising, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Electrical services, I think that that indicates that we don't use the building at $400 for the year. I think that we can just shoot a number out there at $1,000, $1,200. We'll call it $100 a month for electric, so $1,200.
What about back at other contractual services, repairs and maintenance services?
I was going to come back to repairs and maintenance.
Okay.
I skipped over that one. Other contractual, I skipped over that one because I don't really know what we would need
Okay.
there if we hire somebody. Heating services, same deal, $1,100 I think is probably not enough considering the fact that we don't use it. So I was thinking $2,500 there. That's about a $200 a month electric bill.
Sherry, did you have a comment?
You're right now, they're at $7,000 in the gas, is it gas?
Gas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the building's not being utilized. It's empty. So we probably have the thermostat, I would assume, set at something slightly above freezing.
Probably 50.
And I don't think we're going to want anybody to work in the winter at 50 degrees. Probably want to bump it up to 68 or 70 maybe.
Let's not get
25.
let's not get overboard here.
They could
Water and
always wear a
sewer,
sweater.
that should be about standard. I don't know if we'd actually pay a little bit more usage if someone's actually using the facilities there, but do we know if that would increase based on usage there, Jim? Probably so. So just double that to 500.
That's high.
Posted, how
That's
high?
high, it's good.
It's high. You don't use, what, you got one commode and one sink, and nobody's using it?
Well, I don't know how they
$20
charge us.
a month would be max probably.
Short of usage.
I know my house is approximately $336 a year.
Okay.
Of course, I take showers there and wash dishes,
I
but
take a shower, man.
5 minutes, okay. Postage, I'd like to increase that, because hopefully if they do advertising, there might be mailers, so at least double that. Telecom probably doesn't need any improvements there, 1,500 should be okay. Property insurance would be the same. Dues and memberships, according to the last email that I had from Fran Marie before her abrupt resignation, she had indicated that certain memberships and such had quite a cost to them, and if the town wanted to be listed on certain parts of those and certain registrars, et cetera, there was an expense associated with that. Let me see if I can find out how much she suggested. I can't, not this time, at short notice, but
Maybe
maybe
it
bumping
makes
that up to
500.
about $500. Office supplies, again, if we're gonna use it, let's bump it up to $500. Janitorial supplies, it's gonna cost something to keep the museum clean if we're gonna use it.
When they use our cleaning service.
It would still cost us, that's supplies.
Yeah.
Napkins and pick towels and whatever, Windex to clean the museum, table, glass tables, you know.
Do you think you're gonna need $500?
I never threw a number out. I don't believe I threw a number out yet. I
I
said,
thought
let's
we were
increase it.
going, we were doubling.
I doubled the office supplies, based on the fact that hopefully they will need pens and papers and stuff for the kids who come to visit the museum. But janitorial supplies, that can probably be okay. It's not that much money for.
It's not.
Repairs and maintenance supplies, that's one that I had a question about. What are they repairing? Because wouldn't that be under repairs and maintenance services? I was thinking we could strike repairs and maintenance supplies. Unless that includes like light bulb or something. Does that
Yeah,
include
I would
light bulb and
include
stuff?
like, a plumber comes and his hourly rate is 75, but he has $600 part, you know. It's supposed to be split out like that.
So repairs and maintenance services goes with repair and maintenance supplies? Okay. So, I
You'd think
guess we
they'd be
can,
next to each other. Just,
yeah, I don't know why they're so far apart, 3310 to 6007. Books and subscriptions, increase that for anybody who wanted to come along, make that $500. And the other machinery and equipment and stuff like that, I don't think was necessary. Which takes us back to the repairs and maintenance services. Jen, how much is the bid to replace, how much is the approximate estimate to repair the building?
13,000.
Is that just to repair what was damaged, not necessarily to fix the siding properly and all that stuff? What has our average expense been for the last couple of years for the museum for the last couple of times we've had to redo the outside?
It costs us about $15,000 to paint it or something?
Between 13 and 17, depending on what we've done.
It's my belief that that building has gone pretty much unchecked and untaken care of for the last, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years. And I wouldn't be surprised if we wind up starting to use the building and have more problems arise. So I think that last year's budget of around 40,000 would probably be sufficient this year as well.
40K?
That number in there was in there last year for the caboose, and that's not a different line item.
Right.
Keep it 40 even.
Well, with 15,000 to paint it, and I'm not sure that it was done properly this year. And then other contractual services, I'm not really sure what that would be in regards to. So,
I think that number was in there maybe for the person who provided the National Press listing. We paid her straight out. Any service that they had, I think that the last time it was in there, it was for the lady who helped us get the.
all I saw was the $3,000 of the museum programs. Was the only thing that carried over from last year's budget to this year.
I'm assuming.
I would imagine it might cost us something to run a program or two.
Yeah.
So I'd say leave that $3,000 alone as well. So the new numbers for the museum, which I don't think anybody's really adding any of this up tonight, is $12,000 even, $1,074, $3,000, $40,000, $720. I'm assuming that's a fixed bill for our security. Advertising at $5,000, electrical $1,200, heating $25, $250 for water. $500 for water and sewer, $100 for postage, $1,500. $1,135, skip miscellaneous, $500 dues, $500 supplies, $250 janitorial, $1,000 repair and maintenance, and $500.
500
No,
No, he kept that at
Mary Lou
250.
talked me out of changing that. 500 books and subscriptions.
Are you doing nothing at repair and maintenance supplies, leaving it blank for now?
Repair and maintenance supplies, they were $1,000. I didn't change it.
Oh, you
No.
did that? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't change
All
it.
right.
That was my big one for the night.
So if we get it fixed and up and running, would you want to put in a line item for like a reception to show it off? Would that be included in one of our ready items that we have here? I mean, if we're going to do this. then you
Miscellaneous.
do it right.
Item number 5,800. We'll throw a $1,500 party. Will that work?
I don't know, I've never done this before.
$1,500. That'll throw a pretty decent party,
I would think so.
I think. We can have lots of tea and crumpets. How
$7,900.
much was it again? 1,500 for item number 5,800.
5,800.
Item number 5,800. Milt loves a party. We'll give him the money for a party. Right. Oh, you say that. So that being said, we're fighting all that. That's why we have that problem. So does anybody else have any major items that they wanted to discuss about the budget versus looking at it since we just got an email today?
No.
The PD and the museum are my two biggest ones to talk about. Cat's up.
I have one under maintenance, general buildings and grounds, the repair and maintenance services.
Page
including
and line item, please.
5 and 9, 3310.
Other contractual services, building officials.
No, maintenance,
3310.
3310.
Food pantry.
Repairs and
police.
maintenance services, including the police and the food pantry. Basically, this is Thomas and what he does.
Potentially not, because potentially we are hiring a repairs and maintenance staffing person, potentially. Public Works.
Okay. That was my big question of why that went all the way down. If we don't end up hiring that, or would that be part of that same line item if we do? Why is that done at 5,000 instead of the 14? And if Thomas is going to continue with what he does in regard to, getting water outside doors, the door, or anything else, is it possible to offering him, instead of an hourly rate, just give him a yearly salary? Like, give him a yearly
Why would you pay
amount?
Why would you pay a general labor by the hour?
Why would not make a deal with them? And instead of,
Well, because we're thinking about hiring a public works department, i.e., we may not need that person. That's something for consideration down the road as we decide
Right.
the public works, which I believe we got bids in
Presentation.
for April.
okay.
That's why I skipped over all of that stuff, because that stuff has not been decided yet.
When is our trash contract up? You know, copyright, 3 years?
I think it was a 3-year total with optional 2-year increases.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Ms. Bear?
The only thing I wanted to bring up, Planning Commission, if we could leave in all the
Page,
stuff for
line item.
8 of 9, 5510 through 5540. If we could leave, they were blanks, please leave those figures in so we can have education. And I noticed under actuals, I know Ralph is taking the one course. Like a breakdown of how much that was, because at the time, only one of us actually signed up for the course, because we had been informed by the town manager that the town as a whole was running very tight on conventions and stuff, so that's why we just let one go.
So put the numbers back, 15.2 and 63.75.
Yes, please. And on
Should we
31,
not add anything for the people below you, the architectural people?
I'm not on the ARB, I was just filling in the gaps on the
Well, I know,
PC.
but since that person hasn't spoken up, I thought maybe we just
Haven't
add
gotten there yet. My items have been taken away. I got.
Can I deal
Just
with my
on
other one on
top.
Planning Commission?
Sure.
We're in a position where Marchant Schneider can actually perform the job task of our zoning administrator. He would, however, need to be changed from a contracted employee to a part-time employee. So he would be under our town insurance, because zoning administrators can be sued. And so he would have to carry his own insurance as a contracted employee, or for no additional fees, if he's a part-time employee, he could be covered under ours.
Makes sense.
Correct.
But that being said, even with the extra duties, if council so decided to give him the title of zoning administrator, the $15,000 should still cover extra hours he would be required, so.
Okay.
Suggestion, extension and education, you need $6,300.
Well, see, I don't know, because as I said, we were told when everyone wanted to sign up for the one class that we were very limited in how much money we had. That's why only one person took the course. That's why we only
How
sent
much was
Ralph.
the course?
I don't have the total, so I'd have to look at the numbers.
I thought it was $300.
How many people were planning?
Well, $400 times 6 is $2,400.
Yeah, I think
Not
we'll-
in that column.
So why don't we chop that down?
Okay.
Well,
Well, I'm
let's just
just
chop it down to
comparing.
3,000 and call it even number.
And then going back to,
If you did go the route with Marshawn, you may have a little extra as zoning administrator. I mean, I know he does a lot of that now,
But we'd have to change that into employee salary and wages, not under this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This actual other contractual would actually be decreased by 15 and we add it back to the salary.
Yeah.
Kat,
And then
how mu-
going-
How much money do you want for mileage and meals and conventions?
I would duplicate that,
Okay.
the 15, 2, and 3.
Since we're talking about that, if we go back to page 3 of 9, 55, 30, 40, 10, for the town,
55 what, I'm sorry?
55, 10, 30, and 40,
For council meals and lodging and stuff?
yeah, council has no mileage, meals, or convention and education, that's all zeroed out.
So you want to do the same number?
Do we
You
have
know,
any
our
idea
stuff
what
is
we
more
did this year?
expensive.
Do we have any idea what we did this year?
Recently, we just did about $560 check.
Yeah.
It hadn't been approved yet, but we did it.
Probably around $7,000
Total?
with
What if we,
everything, but it was a newly elected officials year.
But that was mileage
Civil
and,
2014.
that was mileage and all that stuff.
yeah, mileage, food,
Well, 2014 won't have, because the conference was after the elections and I was after swearing in.
Yeah.
what if we doubled,
Well, let's just keep it the way that it was for the others, 15, 2, and 3, because how many conferences do you have to go to per year? I mean,
yeah, I mean, that's a starting point. We can all think
we
about it
can
and
always
come
tweak
back.
it.
Yeah, do compares to last year and come back with other numbers.
I like my steak and lobster.
Just make sure you only buy one drink.
One for the day.
Use some discretion, the fact that you are spending taxpayers' dollars.
Okay, what
Going
else?
back to my questions. On 3 of 9, 3,600. Advertising. I don't know if that's a typo.
That's a
That
typo. It's got to be a
went
typo.
from 13,000 to 1,300.
Yeah, no.
To put that back to 13,000, please.
Next.
The telecommunications, 5230. 2,600 is actually if in talking with staff, the max bills and anything else, we're about 160 a month. 2,600 is actually a little high, and 2,000 should be sufficient.
We already
5230?
spent 1475, and there's what, 3-4 months left?
Correct.
If
So-
you
The
actually-
max bill, if you average it.
advertise that, if you average out what we spent through February, and you multiply it times 12 months, you get 2212, so.
Right, maximum a month is 157 a month was at its maximum bill, and it's usually
This
right around
this average is
150.
180 something a month. So why don't we, typically in the budgeting, you look at your actuals and you do the math and you figure out what the projection ending should be. So if we do the actuals and we project it, the projected ending should be 2212.
So 26 seems reasonable.
26 seems very,
Yeah.
I suggest leaving it. Hey Jen, under town administration, am I missing mileage?
I was just looking at the same thing.
because I see convention and education
Right.
dues.
That's what I just
So
wrote down.
add mileage, what do we pay, what do we average monthly for you folks?
Okay, there's convention, education.
Would 1,500 be sufficient for the year? Fair enough. So adding mileage somewhere in there, wherever it comes up under town admin folks.
It'd be the same numbers as, we just pasted in. 1,500.
Yeah.
Same thing with meals and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like all of that got missed. All those two.
So 15 meals and lodging, so 2,000 there. Any others? Cat, any
Page
more?
6 of 9, 43,200, just what is that? It doesn't have an address next to it. What property is that? And that there's no numbers in there? Just a,
That's just a blank, that's.
what is it?
That is something that we talked about earlier when I asked her if she was going to delete all the stuff that we don't use. This is part of the formatting of this software system.
So this
That
is
whole-
just a-
That whole category can be scribbled out.
Okay. Just had a big question. What is it?
Well, she asked us if we ever wanted to track the time that the town manager or any other employee was spending on property management. So she stuck it in there in case we did.
No, it's part of their job, so there's no sense in tracking this every day. You're running out of pages, Kat.
I know it. And look at that. I don't have any more little red dots anywhere.
Mary Lou? You got it? You got it? You got it?
Yeah, on the Avon Playtime, we talked about the bathroom upstairs, maybe. With the capital.
Yeah, where's
We might want to be looking at those things.
CRT?
I thought just a tenant, a potential tenant had made a request of us putting in another bathroom, and I thought from our discussions, we thought that was a little ludicrous.
Oh, and I'm sorry, no, upstairs, like upstairs.
On that building or this one?
Our building, this one. There's one building, one bathroom that's kind of been vacated and looks like there's a shower and stuff like that that's in there that's just not being, needs a little bit of renovation. Thought was that these workers upstairs work out a little bit and they're requesting it to make that a working bathroom or shower.
You know, mainly for the shower, the daytime working out, what have you. I guess we request.
I think council can talk about that at the next meeting, because if,
Well, it's an improvement, so it's like a couple thousand probably.
how many thousand?
I would say a couple thousand.
Oh, I thought you said 12.
No.
You're high. Did you find your questions, Mary Lou?
Yeah, good, thanks.
David, do you have any other questions about the next budget?
No, I don't think we put anything for the shed. I don't know if we want to even consider. I don't think
What
we have
shed?
The shed back here.
Renting it to Doris,
Yeah.
the back building, the
The rental
outbuilding.
piece?
Yeah, that outbuilding.
No, we need to look at all of our rental income.
Anything we missed tonight, we can always bring up at the next budget meeting, correct?
Yep, which we can set after the April meeting.
Okay. All right. Thank you all for coming out.
Motion adjourned?
Second.
See you Thursday.